How's it going, everyone? It's Ben Foggins Media Corner back again with a brand new video for today. Welcome back to the movie review, aka for our Saw review video for today. This time for this new episode for this series is going to be my review on the 2023 action-adventure film, and this is the fifth and final installment of this iconic adventure franchise that was created back in 1981 by Lucasfilm. And as you guys can tell from the title of this video, of course, I'm here to review Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, this is directed by James Mangold, who you may know him as the director of movies such as Logan, The Wolverine, Ford v Ferrari, Walk the Line, 310 to Yuma, and amongst other things. And the story of the film is that archaeologist Indiana Jones, once again played by Harrison Ford, races against time to retrieve a legendary artifact that can change the course of history. So that's pretty much the whole plot synopsis I can pretty much say for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, when it comes to the Indiana Jones franchise itself, I am a massive fan of this franchise. Like, I really adore this series so much. Like, Raiders of the Lost Ark is definitely one of the most memorable pieces of cinema ever, and it is one of the best movies of all time, and it is one of my all-time favorite movies, and definitely one of my all-time favorite adventure movies of all time when it comes to the adventure genre of movies. And the second movie that we did get after that, which was Temple of Doom, which that one's actually a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark. I really enjoyed that one too. I thought that one was great, although it wasn't as good as Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I still really enjoyed it. And that film back then when that was released, it received quite a few controversy because of that film being very dark and all that. But I still really like that film, and I also do think that film is also a little bit underrated as well and all that. And the third film that we did get after that, which was, of course, The Last Crusade, I had loads of fun with that one. It is my second favorite of the franchise. I just really adore The Last Crusade so much. However, for the last film that we did get, which was released back in 2008, which was, of course, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I remember seeing that one in cinemas when it came out, but after I first saw it, I had never saw the film ever again, and I never saw it, like when the years flew by or anything like that until just a couple years later and all that when I started getting into my film days. I did rewatch the film after I've watched all three of the original films, and for my personal opinion for Crystal Skull, I think it's a decent movie. I know there's quite a few people who tend to hate Crystal Skull, but I don't hate it so much because there are some stuff I do like in Crystal Skull, and while, yeah, there certainly are problems with that film or anything like that, but I don't think it's a bad film or anything like that, in my opinion. So when I heard we were going to get a fifth Indiana Jones film, I was really excited as well. But I was really excited for that. But I was also a little bit curious as well because I didn't even know was this going to be a much improvement over the last one. And in terms of like Lucasfilm and for the most recent years, they haven't received quite a few popularity or like recognition or anything like that for their track records or anything like that after the whole phenomenon with the whole Star Wars sequel trilogy and stuff like that. But I was still having hope for this film and all that because at first when I've heard that Steven Spielberg was not going to be directing this film, I was really surprised with that, and I was a bit worried and all that. I was like thinking who's going to follow in his footsteps until I found out that James Mangold was going to follow in his footsteps and direct this final film, and I was really excited to see what he was going to do and all that because James Mangold, I think he's a great filmmaker who's working to this day, and he has made some really great films over the last few years, like those movies I mentioned before. And once I saw the trailers for this film, I was really looking forward to this film. And I went to see this film on opening day, which is on the 30th of June. And there was quite a few people on the screen that I was in, which it was in the really big screen that I was in. But it wasn't like completely sold out or anything like that. But there was quite a lot of people on the screen that I was in. But after watching this whole film, was this better than Crystal Skull? I could definitely say this was definitely much better than Crystal Skull here. But unfortunately, I wouldn't say this is nowhere near on the level like the original three Indiana Jones films here. But I still personally enjoy Dial of Destiny here. But I can also say as well, it's definitely another divisive film here because when I first saw the film and all that, there's been quite a few people who've been very, very divisive with Dial of Destiny here. But for me personally, like I said, I really enjoy this film here. Despite the film being flawed here, there are some stuff I did like with this film, in which for Harrison Ford's final portrayal of this famous archaeologist that we all know and love, which is of course Indiana Jones, he is terrific once again here in this film. And I loved how this film motivates his character pretty differently here than what we have seen before from his previous portrayals of Indiana Jones in the previous 4 films, because in this movie we see that he's getting older here, like he's aged a lot in this film here. And I thought Ford did a phenomenal job for the material that he's given for his character in this film, because we see him like he does kind of struggle with himself while he's on this adventure with his goddaughter, and you can see that he still does get hurt while he's on this adventure and all that, and you see him like he's struggling to cope with the things that's happening to him and all that. And like I said, I thought Ford did a phenomenal job for the material that that he was given for his character here in this movie. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who plays Helena, who is Indiana Jones's goddaughter, she was very good in the film, and she has a lot to do with her character here. I thought she really kicked out of the park through the material that she was given for her character here in this movie. And her chemistry with Harrison Ford, I really liked in this film throughout. And Mads Mikkelsen, who you may know him from Casino Royale and Doctor Strange and The Hunt, which I think he's a phenomenal actor. He plays the villain in this movie named Vola, and I thought he was terrific in this film here, and he was definitely a really great casting choice to play this villainous character, because Mads Mikkelsen, he can really kick out of the park for playing any villainous characters here. Like, he did a phenomenal job in Casino Royale, and he did a really great job as well in Doctor Strange. And as for everyone else who were in the movie, I thought they were great here for the acting talent here in this film. And when it comes to the direction by James Mangold, it was very well made by him. Like, he did a really great job directing this film, because it truly felt like an Indiana Jones film here, through the production sets, which were very beautiful, the action scenes in which, well, there was a few action scenes which I thought were fun here, but there were a few I didn't find that memorable or anything like that. It's mostly due to the formula this film tries to showcase here, which I didn't think worked out that well to make the action scene, some of the action scenes in this film, that memorable here, and that is one of the few issues I do have with this film here. But still, though, the action, for the most part, like I said, there were a few I did find myself enjoying, and while there were a few I didn't find that memorable here. And as for the CG for this film, it's another issue I do have with this film here, because the CG in this film was really noticeable here. It's mostly due to the de-aging effects of Indiana Jones, in which there were times as I was watching the film, I could tell it was very noticeable and all that. Like, I was like, yeah, I could tell it is I could see it being very noticeable here. And that's what I was like when I was watching this movie and all that. And as for the pacing for the film, it isn't too bad here, even though this is the longest of the series, because this is only 2 hours and 34 minutes. And while for the original movies, they were like under 2 hours, and some were like over 2 hours a bit and all that, I just kind of wish the runtime for this film could have been a bit shortened and all that. Which that's another issue I did have. And while for the acts of the film, like the first few 20 minutes of the film, they were not too bad and all that. It was really well paced. And as for the second act, it was quite well paced and all that. But for the third act, I didn't think it was that paced enough really, and I kind of found the third act for the film a bit disappointing and all that. But overall, in the end, guys, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, I definitely enjoy this one a lot more than Crystal Skull here, but it's nowhere near on the level like the original 3 films or anything like that. But if you are a huge fan of Indiana Jones yourself, you may have a good time with this one. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I'm going to give Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny 3.5 out of 5. Like I said before, despite the film being flawed here, I still managed to have a good time with this film from beginning to end here. And like I said, I definitely enjoyed this one a lot more than Crystal Skull, but again, this is nowhere near on the level like the original 3 films or anything like that. And yeah, I can definitely see like why this is another divisive film that 2023 has released here. But for me, like I said, personally, I did enjoy this film here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my AK After I Saw review on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And let me know what you think of this movie if you have seen this already, or if you just recently checked out this film. Did you have a blast with this, or were you very disappointed with this? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been Falcon's Media Corner signing off.